Let's wait a few minutes more and then we can start. Is that okay?
Erva, I think we could go ahead and start.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Sarah. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the, let me open my camera first. Sorry for that. Hello again. Welcome to the Latin America and the Caribbean South America breakout session. I hope you enjoyed the plenary session and event so far. And thank you so much for joining us in the breakout session. So first of all, I am Erva. I am one of the youth moderators here, and I am from Turkey, originally from Turkey, and I work with the UNMGCY for the meaningful participation of young people in humanitarian action. Maziko, Soba, and I, we will be facilitating this group today here, and we are so excited to hear your brilliant ideas and thoughts and feedbacks. And Sarah will also be supporting us in this moderation process. And would you like to introduce yourself, Sarah, Maziko, and Soba?
Hi, everyone. My name is Maziko, and I will be one of your moderators in this session. As Eva has already said, we're very excited to hear your thoughts and your perspective and insights, which are very, very important. So I'm from Malawi, and I would encourage everybody who's joining the session to please feel free, use the chat box and share us your thoughts. Super excited to be here. Yay! Over to you, Salva.
Hi, everyone. This is Nakasaga Sauba from Uganda. I'm a peer educator at Reach a Hand Uganda. It is an organization that stands for young people as far as their sexual reproductive health and rights is concerned. Well, I'm so excited to be a part of the team and to be with you. Feel at home. Feel free to put out all that you have. See you. Thank you.
And I'm Sarah Casey. I'm at Columbia University School of Public Health, but I work with NGOs to improve sexual and reproductive health services in humanitarian settings. And I'm here to support our team of moderators today.
Thank you so much, everyone, for introducing yourselves. I think we have almost 7 participants. That means we have, I think, enough time to let you introduce yourselves as well. So we would love to hear your names and where you are from firstly, and then we can start the discussion if you like. So firstly, I just like to give the speech to Ali Ihsan. Would you like to introduce yourself? Okay, thank you. You can also use the chat box as Ali Ihsan did. Thank you so much for joining us. Bhumika, would you like to introduce yourself?
Okay, greetings everyone. I'm Bhumika Gupta. I'm from India. It's wonderful being here. Thank you.
Thank you. Miriam.
Good morning, everyone. I am Miriam from Haiti. I work with a platform of young women, over 100 young women, and we have a very strong focus on adolescent girls on our platform. So I'm really glad to be here for this lunch.
Thank you. And Tara.
Hello, my name is Tara. I'm from St. Lucia, and I'm the president of a youth and women empowerment organization. One of our main focus is on reproductive health. So I'm really glad and excited to be here today.
Great. Thank you. And Lauren.
Good morning. I'm trying to feed my chickens and get everything ready before I go to work, but I am a physician. I'm very interested in menstrual equity and reproductive health for adolescents and all women. I work for the health department here in Baltimore, which is in Maryland. And I've done a lot of medical work in Honduras. And I am a physician for the reproductive sexual health clinics here. And oddly enough, my daughter is also getting her MPH at Columbia. And I tried to get her on this call. So I'm going to try and connect her. Is it Sarah who's getting her MPH at Columbia? I would like to connect my daughter with her because she has the same interests. So thank you. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much for joining. And Charles, would you like to introduce yourself? Okay, please feel free to use the chat box if your microphone, if you have any problem with your microphone. Veronica.
Hi, my name is Veronica. I'm also located in Baltimore as a nursing student, and I spent before that about 3 years in the Dominican Republic. So that's kind of where my interest in this group is, and I'm just really excited to hear from everyone today.
Thank you. Gabriel.
Yeah, my name is Gabriel Akasisi from Ghana. I'm a professional nutritionist by profession in public health nutrition for children, pediatrics in specific. And I'm interested in working. I've been working with women, pregnant women, and then adolescent reproductive health and how child development accompany physiological changes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Gustavo. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing your names correctly. Okay, Gustavo, if you are not feeling comfortable with using microphone, please use chat box. Thank you anyway. Jessica? Okay, I will invite Oriane.
Hi. Okay. So I'm Oriane, and I'm sexual and reproductive health coordinator for Doctor of the World in Kinshasa, so in Congo, Republic Democratic of Congo. And especially we have a program in with young and adolescent people. So yeah. And also Sarah Kaze, I think you're the one I've read many articles, or maybe you just have the same name, I don't know. So I'm happy to see you if you are.
Thank you. Najwa?
Hi. Najwa from Onorwa, West Bank. I am field nursing service officer. I am gender focal point and disability focal point in my institution. This is overall.
Thank you. Veda. Okay, I guess I will jump in. Raza. Jump in the name of the C on the screen, but I am so sorry again if I'm not correctly pronouncing. I see Purpose. Purpose, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Purpose. I work for Smart Africa International Development Initiative based in Nigeria.
Thank you. And Angela.
Hello, my name is Angela, and I'm from Ghana. I'm with UNFPA.
Thank you so much for introducing yourselves. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. If I missed any names on the screen, because it was a bit confusing because when we share the screen to see the names on the other side of the screen, if I missed any names in this part, please jump in and introduce yourselves. We would love to hear your names and where you are from. Thank you so much for everyone. And for those who couldn't be able to introduce yourselves, please use the chat box. We would love to see your participation on the chat box as well. So if we didn't miss any name here, I would like to start explaining this session a bit more to you. So firstly, in this breakout session, we will be discussing 2 chapters of the toolkit. The first one will be the chapter 3, which is specifically focusing on the meaningful participation of adolescents and youth. Maziko will be explaining this to you in detail soon in the session. And the second one will be the chapter 7, which is specifically focusing on the data used to improve programming in the field. Soba will be explaining this and inviting you to the discussion of this chapter soon. So please let us know what you think about the questions we are going to discuss in this session. You can unmute yourself and speak when you would like to share something with us, or you can only use the chat box as well. It is totally up to you. We will try our best to follow up both the chat box and the speaking request loudly. Before we start discussing the specific chapters with you, I would firstly like to invite you to discuss in general a bit. To begin with a general question, let me also open my camera again. To begin with a general question, I would like to ask you, what do you think are the issues facing adolescents and youth in humanitarian settings regarding their sexual and reproductive health? Do you have anything in your mind to share? Any specific examples maybe you witnessed in your surrounding so far? Maybe I can start the discussion by giving an example to you. Period poverty is a very common issue that usually adolescents usually faces in the humanitarian settings. They usually have difficulties to access the inadequate access to menstrual hygiene tools and educations, since these products are usually not free and they are usually so expensive. This is one of the issues that I usually witness in my surrounding when I work with young refugees. So we would love to hear your experiences as well on this topic. So what do you think are the issues that adolescents and youth face in humanitarian settings?
Hi, Tara again. One of the issues my country face is the lack of access to a well reproductive shelters or abortion facilities to aid girls where it's important for them to have abortions in various situations. So I think there's a lack of that available in my country, especially victims shaming when the victims are, with child or is pregnant. So I believe they should have more access to reproductive health clinics or abortion clinics in my country.
Thank
We
you.
also have someone in the chat who said the adolescents do not have support mechanisms and are not aware of where and from whom to seek guidance.
Yes, exactly. That is so true.
Also, I want to add the untrusted information that many adolescents have through internet. Maybe not right information, not known the source of these information are disseminated through internet, and these information may increase the problem of adolescent, not solve their problems.
Yes, that is so true. We have so many benefits of the internet in our daily lives, but also the difficulties that we may face with the improvement of it. Thank you, Najma. I think Charles, we're going to say another thing. So Bob, please go.
Oh yeah, okay. Thank you. So I've witnessed some of the adolescents in my area facing unprofessionalism of the health workers. For example, a friend came and talked to me that she went to a health facility to access birth control pills, which is family planning. But then the lady, the worker, was so surprised. She was like, at your age, you're already using this. I'm going to tell your mom. So such incidences scare away these adolescents, in that when she goes and tells other adolescents of the challenges she faced when she went to a health facility, it will scare away these young people. So they won't be able to access those services from those facilities. So it is still a problem. Yeah, a problem that needs solution. I think the toolkit will help so many to solve that. Thank you.
Thank you. Another issue that we would like to discuss on this?
Also, I want to add that in Arab region or many regions, that it is unacceptable for adolescents if they are unmarried to seek sexual and reproductive health. And we see many cases maybe of pregnant as a result of rape or anything that seek help, but they can give these services under protection unit only, but not they cannot seek these services alone. Also family planning services also.
Yeah, this is the problem so many youths are facing in many regions, I guess. Thank you, Najwa. Another issue that you would like to raise on this question?
So another issue is, for example, in my country, Uganda, so many adolescents in remote areas don't get access to sexual and reproductive health information. For example, many organizations, they are based in the urban areas. So the adolescents out there don't get that information. So that is also a challenge they face. So they cannot make informed choices because they really don't know about a lot to do with their sexual and reproductive health as well as rights. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. I think that is why we need to improve data collection more in the future with the projects and works like this, like the improvement of this toolkit as well. So now I would like to move on with the specific chapters by giving the speech over to Maziko. I am sure we will be talking in detail of this question in this specific chapters part. So please, would you like to go ahead, Maziko? Thank you so much, by the way, for all your contributions so far.
Thank you very much, Eva, and also thank you very much everybody who has contributed. I think one of the key issues that are coming up here is one of the key things I've noticed is that we've all sensed a problem and we want to address this problem. And obviously the toolkit has several chapters, but as Eva had said earlier, we will be focusing on chapter 3 and chapter 7. So I will be taking you through chapter 3, which is on meaningful participation. I would encourage you, as stated earlier, to use the chat box if you have any comments, any questions. Just get in the moment. We're about to have fun, and obviously this is very serious, but let loose a little bit, you know what I mean? But so this chapter 3, it relates, it pretty much talks about meaningfully engaging adolescents and youth in programming that benefits them. It is also important to engage community members in ASRH activities. So the chapter has 3 main components, which is adolescent participation, community participation, and participation tools. So before we start discussing, I would really like to just throw it back to the participants. Do you really think it's important to engage young people and adolescents in different ASRH programming? Do you think it's important? Or do you think, nah, we don't need those young people and adolescents? Like, let me know. What do you think? Do you think it's important? And why do you think it's important? Okay, so we have Valmika who says, certainly, it is important. I want this to be very engaging. I don't see anything in the chat box. Where's the energy, people? Okay, it's very important. All right, I need one more comment till we get going. Do we think it's important to engage young people and adolescents in ASRH programming or not? What do we think? All right, so we have Balmika again who says it is important to engage them to know about what are the facilities they need and the barriers they face in accessing them. And I think this is a very important point because when we talk about meaningfully engaging young people and meaningful participation, decisions that affect adolescents and young people, if we're making decisions that affect them, decisions that affect us, we need to be part of the decision-making bodies, decision-making tables, and we need to be involved at every cycle of this decision-making process. So I'm loving the feedback here, and we can see that, for example, Veronica says that, yes, it can be more effective and long-lasting to engage youth so they know about resources over the period of a adolescents instead of learning about safe resources further into adulthood. So that's great. I am happy that we're all on the same page. We do understand that we need to engage, meaningfully engage young people and adolescents. So I'd like to also ask you, how do you think you, your organization, or your agency can use meaningfully youth participation and the tools from this chapter? I'm not sure, have we all gone through the toolkit? Just comment in the chat box. It's okay if you haven't gone through the toolkit, but I just want to know, do we know the guiding tools that are part of the toolkit? And yes, Balmika, nothing for us without us. Okay, so no, okay, Tara says she hasn't gone through it, but I think maybe just, all right, maybe just a general question would be, how do you think we can meaningfully engage young people in ASRH? How do you think we can meaningfully do this? What do you think? How do we really meaningfully engage young people? How do we, for example, identify these young people? I remember during Irva's session, somebody had said that there's some young people who stay in hard to reach areas. And how do we make sure that we're meaningfully engaging different groups of young people, whether they belong to a certain group, a certain area? How are we going to ensure that we're meaningfully engaging young people? Okay, so circulate authentic information regarding SRH to adolescents. I think that is it's a great idea. And it's very important, like I mentioned before, that if we are engaging adolescents and if we are talking about issues that are affecting them, then they need to have the correct information so that they can make informed decisions regarding their health, their well-being, and surroundings. And then we also have another comment from Baumika. It says, having free spaces for discussion on such issues in educational institutions and homes, which is also a great point as well, because young people face so many problems, adolescents face so many problems, like for example, ageism, different issues. And it's very important to create safe spaces where they are being heard, where they're not being ridiculed, where their ideas are being validated, their experiences are also being validated, and we see the diversity in the options that Baumika has presented, because we're seeing these safe spaces should be created in education institutions, in homes, meaning that obviously with the current trend and depending on the environment, we need to ensure that these safe spaces are created in different institutions and different phases. Okay, so from Najwa, we see he or she says through focus group audit. Is the focus group audit like a focus group discussion? Is that it? Is it the same thing? Najwa, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that properly.
Yes, also I want to mention to see what is given to them through our services to make an audit.
Okay.
If it is acceptable for them or not, to donate, to add more services, or to be more active in our
Yeah, thank you very much for that clarification. And I think that's also very important. It goes back to meaningfully engaging young people, because we don't want to just assume what the issues that they face are, But if we engage and consult them through either the focus group discussions or focus group audits or different kind of consultations, participatory models, we will be able to hear directly from them. So before we wrap up this session, I know we're having so much fun because I am, but we have mentioned that young people, we know that young people are always used as tokens most of the time. You know, we're invited over to these meetings, to these discussions, and it's just for people to tick a box. I just want to hear from you. How do we meaningfully engage adolescents and young people beyond tokenism, beyond just using them as, you know, like a token to just report back that, oh, there was this young person that came and contributed or whatever. How do we meaningfully engage young people beyond tokenism? I would like to hear from you. How do we really do that?
Yeah, hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, this is Gabriel. I want to say something regarding that, the meaningful contribution. How do we think we can engage the youth in that aspect?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, now I think there was, we tried something in Ghana, which we say we had a program we call Pregnancy School. Now, I was fortunate. I played at the background. There was one of my lead people who was working on it, and I did part of it. What happened is that, you know, it was an example like a pregnant woman, they hear about safety delivery and stuff, but they still have problems. So what we did was we had something they call pregnancy school. So what they do is that pregnant woman from 3 months to 4 months, they undergo this classes. Like when they come from healthcare, what they do, they give them what they're expecting in the next time to come. And then that happens till when those who are getting to a safe month, when people are going to deliver, they already send them inside to see what is happening. Now, what I think these youth need is that we need to have them know what they're expecting before. So maybe you can have a program like adolescent school. Like you encourage parents that when a child is like 10 years or 9 years, you need to give them this kind of education so that they expect it already. Because we don't, if you wait for them to feel it, sometimes some will hide it and other things. So what I think it can be more participatory is like, if you have organized things like that stuff, like maybe in a community, you say, okay, girls with 10, from 9 years to 14 years, we are having adolescent education. Then you have that program, it gives them that kind of light, they feel, and like together, and they say, oh, it's not only me, my friends are also expecting it. So I think that inclusiveness is what can bring them together, and like they will always expect it and feel better. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Unfortunately, we're out of time here, but I really like that point. I like that model, and I think it's very important if we translate it to engaging young people and adolescents to equip them with skills so that they are aware how they can, for example, penetrate through different decision-making bodies so that they can meaningfully engage, so that they're also aware that they're being used as tokens, for example, and that they find ways to make sustainable and more effective impact. So I would like to throw this over to Erva, who's taking us through chapter 7. Thank you everyone for your participation and your amazing feedback. You people are amazing. Awesome.
Thank you so much, Moziko. As I shared with you before at the beginning, the chapter 7 is focusing on the data for action. I am not going to explain this chapter in detail, but the chapter is specifically mentioning the importance of that data gathering for the programming processes and for the engagement processes of adolescents and youth in the humanitarian humanitarian action. So the chapter basically has 4 main components. It mentions conducted assessments, mentions program design, implementation and monitoring, and evaluation and documentation. Since the beginning, I heard that you all almost you all have been trying to focus on the importance of the data and the education and access to the correct information through the online channels and the toolkits that we create. So I think the data for this section is specifically important for this discussion today. So I would like to ask you first, in the light of this information, I would like to ask you this to you, that what do you think that why data should be important to us, and how do you think your organization or yourself will use the guidance and tools from this chapter? Do you think that chapter would be beneficial for your work? Do you think data is also important as the youth participation, like youth participation in your work in your field? I remember that one of the participants say that, I think, yeah, Bhumika says definitely data reveals a lot. Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. I remember, yeah, please go. Who is trying to?
Okay, like I think data is really important, data for action, because we've seen so many organizations come to our communities, because it goes back to meaningful participation. That is where I'm going to draw it to. So they come to our communities, collect data from us, but we never get to know how the data is used. So I think this tool is going to help organizations to guide them on how to implement the information they get from us from the ground. Thank you.
Exactly, great point. Thank you so much, Soba. I believe the same thing, actually. This chapter might be a great tool to use the data in the field properly for all the humanitarian workers, especially in the field of SRHR. So any other points on that? Any other idea? Do you think that data should be important, and you can use the chapter for this aim, for data collection?
Another thing is that, for example, other organization, you may find that your organization isn't the only one that has undertaken that research. Maybe you're doing a research on how young girls perceive menstrual health, their menstrual hygiene, and all that. But then you remember that there is some other organization that probably could have undertaken such a study. So it is possible to, like, you could go back to that organization and refer or preview from their findings. Then you can build onto from there to make yours.
Yes, exactly. It is so important to have data before starting the advocacy of many issues, and referring back to the real numbers to see the improvements after your advocacy process in the field. So thank you so much, Saba. A great point. Another great point. Any other idea on that issue? So I would like to ask another question, but we have 2 minutes left, but I still want to hear your ideas on that. So I would like to ask that, how can your agency help with providing more evidence for what works and what does not, what works and what does not work in ASRH in emergencies? So would you like to share something on that before we close the session? I think one of the help that your organization might provide might be following toolkit guidance to collect and use age and gender disaggregated data, right? Do you think your organizations can do things like this to help in the progress? Any idea? Thank you, Miel.
Yes, I think, can I say something? Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah,
Niel from,
please go.
yes, I'm Niel from the Philippines. I think one of the most important thing is how can we ensure that the youth are part of the data collection and data analysis, and who choose the data to be collected? Sometimes we neglect the youth and adolescent to participate on that process so that they can own the data, analyze the data, and take part in the planning. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Great point. It is also important to ensure that youth is meaningfully participating in the data collection as well. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. I think we should leave the breakout session for now. Thank you so much for your all great participation so far. Thank you so much for sharing your ideas with us. We will be meeting in the plenary room again, I guess.
Thank you.